Hi, this is Greg McIntyre at McIntyre Elder Law with Brenton Begley. How are you doing, guys? We're live. We're doing a live, so when I make a flub like that, it's going to be on the record, okay? So we are set up and ready to take your calls. We're going to do a live Are You Ready estate planning seminar today, and we're going to talk about how to protect your hard-earned money and property. And my thoughts are you can comment, ask questions, anything you need. We'll do our best to answer those questions. We also have operators standing by. We have Taylor and Tiffany there ready to field calls, and they are ready to take your calls when you call in. We'd be glad to schedule a consult during this time as a public service or civic duty. We felt it important to waive our standard consultation fee, which is generally $150. We've waived that fee today if you call in because of the live free seminar that we're doing right now. We just feel like during this crisis, you need good legal information, and we're going to do some good education. So strap in and hang out, and we'll have some fun. Thank you for being here, Steph. And our oldest son, Jordan, is going to help out as well. Thank you, Jordy. I appreciate that. He's our firm model today. They're our firm models, Steph and Jordy. Nope? Okay. Well, we're getting ready to start the seminar, so without further ado, thank you very much, guys, okay? I'm going to position this in the right place, and we'll get ready to go. So I'm going to take this up if you guys want to. Very good. Okay, Brenton, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, I think we're both ready.
Good deal.
Okay, so when we look at doing estate planning and elder law for clients, if you guys want to take those and put them back where they got, okay, get those girls out. When we look at doing estate planning and elder law for clients, the first thing we think about is what are your goals? We want to identify your goals. So when we say, are you ready? We're not sure for what. Are you ready for what may come in a way that might satisfy your goals? And, you know, in today's environment with COVID-19, the coronavirus, and everything that's been going on with shutdowns, it's just a really dicey, up in the air situation. Yeah. But I think you can gain peace of mind by doing some planning, gain some clarity by planning. So again, I'm Greg McIntyre. I'm an estate planning and elder law attorney. This is Brenton Begley, also estate planning and elder law attorney. And we're going to talk about, hey, why is our firm named McIntyre Elder Law, Brenton?
Yeah, I mean, we wanted to make it clear what it is we do. And we wanted to make it clear to not only our clients, but ourselves, right, that we focus on one thing and one thing only, and that's estate planning and elder law. You know, we would love nothing more than be able to take your speeding ticket and, you know, represent you for that, but that's just not what we do. You know, we could refer you to someone who would do a great job, but that's just not what we do. We focus on one thing, that's saving people's hard-earned money and property and helping them plan for the future.
Right. Not for the future.
That's right. That's love right there.
And I wanted to name the firm McIntyre Elder Law, not just to tell us that we do elder law and to focus us, but that's part of it, because I will take other types of cases. And I don't want to do that. We just want to get really good at what we do within the estate planning and elder law realm, but also to let you know exactly what we do. And still people come in from time to time and ask me if I'm Mr. Elder or if my partner Mr. Elder, if that's who that is. No, all we do is estate planning and elder law. So we're so serious about that. Our firm is named McIntyre Elder Law. So very, very proud to be a member of Elder Council as well. That gives us a really deep bench. So it's not just us here. We also have attorneys from around the state, around the country, that can help us answer questions we might have not seen before, and we can help them answer questions the same way. So that very proud of that. So coronavirus.
Yeah, man.
I mean, that's hit us all. That's the hot topic of the day. You can't avoid it. You can't turn on the television without seeing something about it. I'm almost tired of it. I was hesitant to put the slide up there. But But when I put the slide, we're helping people, it's usually, a picture of hands or, somebody helping someone else, helping hands. But right now, lately, it's really been people concerned about what's going on, what's going to happen. Brenton, have your clients been expressing concerns about COVID-19, coronavirus?
Oh, absolutely. And not only are they expressing concerns, but we're trying to meet our clients' concerns not only in planning for the future, but also in meeting their needs as far as, virtual consultations, maybe consultations over the phone, and just helping them get their affairs in order while maintaining social distancing.
Sure.
Right? And the other thing is that, another thing that I've seen with this whole coronavirus thing is a need, from people, or maybe even a motivation from people to get their affairs in order. And I think that's a good thing. If it takes the coronavirus to really make you realize that this is an important thing to do, then I'm okay with that.
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Because, it's going to be better if you have your affairs in order anyway, if you planned ahead. Because anything could affect our lives, from a sickness, a death. We need to plan for those things. Certainly the coronavirus, the COVID-19 has put it right in front of our faces every day.
Right.
Yeah, and to Brenton's point, we are doing free consultations right now, and we're doing those consults either in person, by video conference, which is very easy right from your computer or your phone. And we also do phone consults. We do a mixture of those now every day. Our days have gone from mostly 90+%, probably 95+% in person, to probably really split up a third between in-person video conference and phone conferences. And we're glad to set those up for you. And the people we have on our communications team that are teams that answer phones, that set up the calendars, they're very trained and very good to do that. So call 704-749-9244 to set up your free consult today to talk about your estate plan and getting your affairs in order. So, the why. I have my why up here. We could have mixed in your why too.
That's true.
I have my grandfather here, Paw Paw Mac. Paw Paw was a tenant farmer, worked his entire life, to gain, a home in Lattimore, North Carolina, and then ended up really losing everything because of around 14 years in assisted living care. It was so costly. It just took everything he had. Had he had someone like me or Brenton at that time, then we could have saved the farm. We could have easily saved the farm. I think about that so much, it really kind of is an anchor for me as an estate planning and elder law attorney, and also was the basis of a book I wrote called Saving the Farm, a practical guide to the legal maze of aging in America. I have not seen any books out there like it. There's a void in the market for a book that spoke directly to the consumer on how to think about estate planning. So Hayden in our office likes to say it's a reference book that reads like a novel because it is based around the story of my grandfather and some of his struggles. And the pictures on the cover and the back cover are from Lattimore, North Carolina, on a Saturday afternoon that I took to go around Lattimore and snap pictures of hundreds of barns and fields and other things. And I grew a new respect for Lattimore and really how much land is there. It's a big place. And so I'd love to be able to give you this Saving the Farm book for free today too, and we'll tell you how to do that towards the end of the seminar. We're going to offer not only the free consult at 704-749-9244, but also a free copy of Saving the Farm as well, okay? And also another one of my whys, you saw one of them, my wife, and then our oldest son, who's a bit older, a couple of years older now than this picture, and then the rest of our children. We have 6 children, and that really grounds me with family and lets me know that, I work hard every day to get a little something in this world and take care of these people right here. So I understand that you might want to take care of your family as well, and I understand how hard you work out there. So I understand that it's important to protect our hard-earned money and property. And one of the things that keeps me up nights for clients and for myself is thinking about how I'm going to pay for college, how I'm going to pay for big life events out there. Brenton, what is a huge life event out there that seniors and their families might need to be worried about?
Yeah, there's quite a few, but I would say that the main one is the need to pay for long-term care.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Sure, long-term care is a huge expense. It's a huge expense. That's why we're so worried about it.
Yeah.
And you may have long-term care insurance, but very few people really do.
Right.
And I want you to be aware also that people over 65, everyone has Medicare. But that does not pay for nursing home or assisted living care.
Yeah.
That doesn't pay for nursing home care. So how are you going to pay?
Yeah, right out of that pocket.
Out of your pocket. I got a few dollars in my wallet, a couple credit cards, but I guarantee you, it'd spend down everything I had if I had to pay for long. So we want to consider that and keep an eye there when we're thinking about long-term care planning.
Yeah.
So that's the slide we're on. The question is, what percentage of people over the age of 65 will need some type of long-term care? What percentage of people over the age of 65 will need some type of long-term care? What percentage is that, Brenton?
That's 70%.
70%.
That's right.
Brenton, why is planning for long-term care such an important thing?
Well, if you have a 70% chance of needing some type of long-term care, we're talking about $5,000 to $10,000 a month, maybe even more. That's hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. So if you have a 70% chance of needing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, you might want to plan ahead. You might want to prevent, losing your home, your property, and everything you've worked hard all your life for, due to the fact that you need some type of long-term care, right? Due to the fact that facilities charge such, high prices.
And the prices are generally justified. I mean, hey, nursing homes, assisted living care facilities, they have to pay the rent. They've got to pay the bills. They've got to pay their employees.
And
They've got
do a lot.
to provide a service. The problem is there's a disproportion it's not proportionate between what people earn during their lives and save
That's right.
versus what it costs the last few years of your life if you need that care. And that's where people get into trouble. And that's where people spend down all their assets.
That's right.
Planning ahead is always the best option. And we can jump straight into trust. We're going to hit our foundational work first, okay? We're going to hit the foundational items first because you need to put a foundation in place before you build a house.
And too many people skip it.
Right. And you can really get in trouble by skipping it.
Yeah.
So without further ado, we're going to talk about these 4 documents. General durable power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney, living will, and then we'll go into deed planning and protection and trust. Okay, some more complicated trust. So let's start here, Brenton. What about general durable powers of attorney?
All right, so general durable power of attorney is an awesome tool. And it's probably the most important document you could have because the general durable power of attorney, what you do is you appoint somebody to act on your behalf as if they were you for legal and financial purposes.
That's right.
And you can think of many reasons why this might be important, right? Say something happened to you and you can't act on your own behalf. Well, who's going to pay the bills every day? Who's going to keep...
Or how are they going to pay the bills?
How? Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Deed power is not going to talk to you if you don't have a power of attorney for that person, okay?
Right.
Edward Jones isn't going to talk to you. The investment advisor, the bank account, the insurance company isn't going to talk to you on that person's behalf unless this person is giving you permission through a legal document called a financial power of attorney or a general durable power of attorney, as it's also more formally known.
That's right. And I get the question all the time, well, I'm married, right?
Mm-hmm.
And why can't my spouse act on my behalf?
Right.
And I mean, why is that? Why can't a spouse act on another's behalf? Why would they need power of attorney?
Yeah, well, I get that question all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but we're married. I should be able to access my husband's IRA. What does IRA stand for? It stands for
Individual retirement account.
Individual retirement account. What about insurance? I'm the beneficiary of the insurance policy. I can access that insurance policy, right?
And no.
No. Being a beneficiary means you get it if somebody passes away.
That's right.
Not that you can access it and do anything with it during their life.
That's right.
So what about deeds? If my name's on a deed with my wife and I need to put a protected deed like a ladybird deed, but she's incompetent or incapacitated for any reason.
Yeah, the old saying goes, takes one to buy, two to sell.
One to buy, two to sell. That's right. So to put any kind of protective deed or sell a property, mortgage a property, anything, I have to be able to act as the other person.
That's right.
Right? And I want to give my wife the unlimited access to do that because I trust her.
That's right.
And we want to appoint a trusted person. We want to appoint a very trusted person to do this because you are allowing them access to your financial data and your finances, period. Real estate, bank accounts. But as long as you have a trusted person to give the access to, it's very good to put that in place so that if you can't take care of matters and you are incompetent or incapacitated because of illness or injury, all is not lost.
That's right.
We can plan. We can still do things.
What makes the durable power of attorney durable?
There's a durability provision. Sometimes I see one sentence. Ours is an entire paragraph or section in our powers of attorney, probably about yay big, that makes sure that the attorney, in fact, the agent, still has the power even if I become incompetent or incapacitated. If I don't have that clause in there, then it ceases to have power when I really need it.
Right.
Right? And so you don't want to leave that out. Power of attorney documents can be extremely complicated. And often that complicated aspect of them is overlooked.
And they can be very complicated, very detailed, and I get the question all the time too. Well, can't I just print this off the internet? Is this just a form that I could just find somewhere?
Sure.
And what would you say about that?
Yeah, they're written to the person.
That's right.
And they're written to the individual for that specific situation.
That's right.
And they need to contain so many certain things. I don't want my clients to fall prey to the mistake of leaving some of those things out. Or, for instance, I see clauses that limit gifting to the agent, which is not good if my spouse is trying to protect assets for us and she can't place anything in her name at all or can't benefit at all. In theory, it sounds like a great idea. In practicality, it's a horrible idea, right? And it prevents her from doing planning for me and doing what's best for me or qualifying me for benefits that I might so desperately need because I need assisted living or nursing home care.
Right, and you don't have the benefit of counsel going over the document with you and explaining to you how each provision works.
Because you don't do it every day.
That's
It's
right.
not that you're not smart enough to do it, right? It's that you just don't do it every day. When I needed, a transmission replaced in my son's car, I didn't do it myself. I took it to a transmission shop.
Yeah.
And it took a couple of days to get it back, right? And I have the assurance and a warranty that it's good to go.
Right.
Same thing when you go into an attorney. So don't bring me your transmission, but I will draft your general durable power of attorney. So next, healthcare powers of attorney. Appointed, trusted individuals that make healthcare decisions for you. Heaven forbid you are in a situation where you can't. And this is only if you can't make your own healthcare decisions. This kicks in and someone else can make those for you.
So important during this time. I can't stress the amount of importance that a healthcare power of attorney would have for many of our clients, especially during this time, right? So
Sure.
what happens if you're put on a ventilator, right?
Yeah.
Are you conscious during that time?
They have to sedate you.
That's right.
They have to sedate you to put you on a ventilator.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can't make your own healthcare decisions at that time. So at that time, if something goes wrong, if something needs to, the doctor has a question, the staff, if there needs to be medication changes, surgical procedures, anything, they would usually check with your healthcare agent. For me, I've appointed my wife as my primary. We have 6 children who can never probably agree on anything.
Right.
And will always, not just fight or fuss, but just have a hard time agreeing, right, on things. It's 6 different people, right, who are siblings. So I don't want to lay there and suffer or miss out on an opportunity to save my life or improve my life, or relieve my pain and suffering when a decision needs to be made that my 6 children can't agree on.
Right.
So to avoid that, I've appointed our oldest son, who was pictured earlier in the video.
Right.
I've appointed him to make my healthcare decisions if my wife is not able to do it because we were both in a mutual accident, auto accident, or injury, or maybe she predeceased me. I hope not, but life happens. So in order to face reality and not run from or hide from reality, which is what some people do, I'm guilty of that in the past. We've done our estate plan, so we're ready.
Right.
No matter what may come. And that's an incredible peace of mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Incredible peace of mind.
And the fact that, our population of clients tend to be over the age of 65.
Sure.
And if they have a 70% chance of needing some type of long-term care, then, you need that healthcare power of attorney, which is going to allow a trusted individual to help make healthcare decisions with regard to getting you qualified for maybe benefits to pay for long-term care, getting you the type of care and the level of care that you need, and then being able to dictate what happens while you're in care during that time. Because you don't want to just allow someone to live in a facility. They do a great job, but you don't want to allow someone to live in a facility, live out their time, or hopefully, return home, but live in a long-term care facility for a long enough time without having the ability to dictate what happens while they're there.
Sure.
Right? And that's why we include things like the ability to hire and fire medical staff in that healthcare power of attorney.
What about HIPAA?
Oh yeah, you want it to be
Have you ever heard of HIPAA?
That's right.
Health Insurance Portability Accountability Act.
That's right.
And 1996. Good luck pulling medical records for someone else.
Right.
Without them first giving you a HIPAA authorization.
Yep.
So we want to include that HIPAA authorization within our healthcare powers of attorney also. That's extremely important and something that I think is grossly overlooked in a lot of foreign healthcare powers of attorney.
Right.
What about disposal of the body?
Yeah, you need to have power that extends beyond maybe that person's life. And generally, you don't see that in power of attorney, but thankfully you can do that in a healthcare power of attorney.
It's the only thing that you can do that survives the grave.
Yeah.
With a healthcare power of attorney.
Many times it's required.
Right. Yeah, the funeral directors are required to have consent through a healthcare power of attorney to be able to cremate or bury someone, and that healthcare agent to be able to make that decision.
Right. Okay?
So it's required to be placed in that healthcare power of attorney, especially if it's someone other than the exact next of kin. Okay.
Right.
So we program that into the healthcare power of attorney as well. And there's more. Mental health decisions, right?
Yeah.
Mental health, medications regarding, mood altering, medications, things. Those are governed under a separate statute, 122C, and we want to bring that within our healthcare powers of attorney so we can have the healthcare agent make decisions over the whole body,
right?
The body and the mind.
Yeah.
And for your betterment and for your good, when you can't do it. So healthcare powers of attorney, probably a dumb question to ask. In an emergency situation, should I have someone appointed to make my healthcare decisions? Of course I should.
Yeah.
Right? And shame on me if I don't. Right?
Yeah.
And really, this is not about losing control. Powers of attorney, the financial power of attorney and the healthcare power of attorney are more about controlling your fate and gaining control and appointing the primary and secondary and third, if you want, people that step in and make decisions. It's about maintaining control or getting control of your future.
That's right.
Otherwise, you're just leaving it to chance.
And what I think a lot of people don't understand is you're not giving up any power.
You're not giving up any power. Some people are afraid of that.
Yeah.
You can still make your own healthcare decisions. You can still make your own financial decisions.
And they can't make decisions that you don't want, right? They can't just go contrary to your own decisions. Now, if you're incapacitated and incompetent, hopefully you pick a trusted person to act on your behalf. But they can't just force you into a nursing home or something like that if they have.
That's true. If you're competent, with the healthcare power of attorney, that is not the same as a guardianship.
That's
so
right.
To speak. Okay,
That's right.
That's exactly right. So you could act against that person's wishes, and there's nothing that a hospital or a nursing home, assisted living facility could do.
Right.
That's right. That's agreed. Good point. So, a living will. What is a living will really?
Yeah, so it's nothing to do with living and nothing
It's not about living.
with your will.
And it's not my will.
Yeah, so, but what it is your declaration for your desire to die a natural death Okay, so what you're saying is, if I'm incompetent, incapacitated, right, incompetent, and I'm also terminal,
Right.
okay, incurable and past the point of no return, then it's okay to
In a
go ahead and let me
persistent
go.
vegetative state.
That's right.
what you hear all the time. Yeah.
Persistent vegetative state.
Sure.
And, that's been confirmed by physicians,
Right.
that I'm essentially past the point of no return, being kept alive by virtue of machines, and that's all, right? Then it's okay to go ahead and let me go at that point.
Is it okay to let me go? It's my voice in the room.
That's right.
When I can't speak. This both has legal and practical implications. Legally, I'm waiving liability for my healthcare agent for following my wishes. Practically, I'm telling my 6 children that it's okay to let me go, and the decision isn't just on your shoulders.
Right.
So it helps with that, what has to be guilt-ridden decision of letting mom or dad go.
Yeah.
So a healthcare power of attorney, also, we can consider certain religious aspects that we could write into a healthcare power of attorney.
Certainly. Yeah. I mean, some people, healthcare power of attorney, first of all, yes. Because, you have some people who don't want blood transfusions, for example. That's a big one out there. And maybe organ donation, too, in the healthcare power of attorney. And you might want to speak to the living will in that situation, too, and reiterate some of those religious reasons. Or, maybe there's some belief that you have that you don't want to be in that in-between state, right?
I might be Catholic, for example, and want last rites Eucharist administered before I'm let go.
Right.
Which is important, and that the living will is the place for that.
Yeah.
Now, should these documents work with or talk to each other? Because usually you see people, they just get these standalone documents.
Yeah.
How should a living will interact with a healthcare power of attorney?
Look, I want mine to speak to each other, and I think that our clients understand that it's important that they speak to each other because, I want to declare my desire to die a natural death, but I also empower my healthcare power of attorney to make healthcare decisions for me. So maybe I want in my healthcare power of attorney for my healthcare agent to say, hey, let's give him a little bit of time before we do those last rites and let him go, right? Or let's give it a little bit of time.
I want to leave
before.
the human element in it.
Yeah.
That's right. I want to leave the human element in it to say, I think we need to explore some other options here.
Yeah.
If that's what they think. I don't want to think we live in a world where insurance companies necessarily dictate what medical care we get, but I hate to think we live in that world, but we might, okay?
Right.
So we want to be conscious of that, so we trust our healthcare agent and we leave them the power to trump that living will if they need to.
Right.
To explore other options or make other decisions. Last but not least, out of the foundational documents, we have a last will and testament, right?
That's right.
So what is a last will and testament, or as many people refer to it, just a will?
A will, that's right. So it's a document that essentially what it does is it passes your assets when you die. So it dictates what happens to your assets when you pass away. And it says that these are my heirs, these are the people who are supposed to get my assets.
Right.
And it's pretty much simple as that. Now you can add things to the will, you can add other things to the will, maybe wishes, maybe the way that you want your body to be handled after you pass away, things like that. But the most important thing it does is it passes assets.
Right.
And traditionally, it's passed assets, throughout history. So Western history has always
Give us a
had
history lesson on wills.
the will. That's
Where'd they
right. I
start?
always love to do this. So it's
Pretty sure they're in the Bible.
Yeah.
Are they in the Bible?
I think it started in Greece and Rome.
Yeah.
So that it was a thing. Because legacies matter. It's always mattered to people, especially in civilized society.
You can pass your toga onto your
your
son.
toga. Yeah.
Your toga.
Yeah, your collection of papyrus
Yeah.
writings. Yeah,
And shells.
absolutely.
Sure.
And it was very important for those people, and it's just as important as it is now. That assets, you built them your whole life. You have a legacy to leave behind, and you want to do that. But wills are a thing that's been around, so naturally they become antiquated. In a way, it's good to have one, right?
Sure.
And I have a deep appreciation and love in my heart for the will, but I also understand that maybe it's not the most efficient way to pass assets.
Yeah, and that's the question. Could a will be a dangerous place for you to pass your assets? I think a will is great. We do a ton of probate here at the firm, However, you can avoid probate. And you can avoid probate with trust, with deed planning, with payable on death beneficiaries on your bank accounts, with beneficiaries on your investment accounts, on your IRA accounts, on your insurance policies. All those things go outside of the court system. Let's define what probate is. Probate is a process by which the will passes property, and it is a court process. So it's a courthouse process. So the reason there's a danger is when somebody passes away, and you may have seen this, in the local paper, we publish for 4 consecutive weeks that somebody passed, and it's a notice to creditors. Now, a notice to creditors is exactly what it sounds like. From the first day that we publish that, we wait 90 days. And during that 90-day waiting period, in the probate period, we wait for liens to come in. Now, you can have a lien with MasterCard, Visa, the hospital for medical bills during the last year of your life, or with Medicaid, because Medicaid came in and paid for assisted living or nursing home care.
That's right.
So when Medicaid comes in and pays for that care, you can keep your house and your car. But if your house is flowing through your will to get to your children, it's not going to get there, because that Medicaid lien is going to attach to your estate, and it's going to force the sale of that home. Now, that's the same even if you don't have a will, because you would still go through that same process. We just call it estate administration because there's no will. And the state has already chosen how they want to pass your assets, and that's called the statutes of intestate succession. So if you want to be in control of how you pass your assets, you had better put in place a will, as opposed to what our politicians have chosen for you and how they want to pass your assets. I know we all trust all our politicians right now, right?
Oh yeah,
No?
absolutely.
Maybe? I don't know. But ask yourself, do you want what the state has decided for you, or do you want to have control in how you pass your hard-earned money and property? I would think you would want to have control. I do. And then I would think, okay, how can I protect those assets? So a long-term care situation that generates a huge bill with the state, if Medicaid has to be accessed, how can we protect the home to pass?
Yeah.
How can we use trust
Yeah.
to do that? How can we use deed plan?
Yeah.
And that gets into our next section. Do you have any other comments on the will, Brenton?
Yeah, like I said, it's very good to have as a foundational document, because by default you have the power to choose what happens to your assets, which is an amazingly powerful thing that we have. It's one of our rights that we should exercise. But we need to also look towards protection of assets. And that's what we can do with things like deeds and things like trust.
Sure. I'll tell you, just as a break, because we're getting ready to go into the next section, we're going to deed planning, and then we're going to trust, okay? And what I'd like to say is, we usually do quite a few seminars for the public, do a couple a month usually, in different areas. We haven't been able to do that, so today we're offering a free estate planning live seminar for you. And if you, because you're watching, because you hung out with us, if you would like a copy of our book, Saving the Farm, A Practical Guide to the Legal Maze of Aging in America, I would love to give you a copy of that. Also, I would love to give you a copy of our new magazine, The Elder Law Report, which contains within it all the maps, all the monopoly type maps for estate planning. So the estate planning map, where you can see how Medicaid liens can attach, how wills pass property, how trust and ladybird deeds, how payable on death beneficiaries and other assets can pass property to your loved ones free of those liens. We've got the trust planning map and the ladybird deed map as a bonus also, okay? So we'd love to be able to give you the magazine, the Elder Law Report also. And we're set up to do that, okay? We are already set up to do that, And I already have that prepared for you, but you need to go to mcelderlaw.com/free consult. Sign up there, mcelderlaw.com/free consult, and you'll get a free copy of Saving the Farm, and we'll make sure you get a copy of the magazine, the Elder Law Report, and the maps that are included. And we will waive our consult fee, the $150 consult fee, and we will give that to you free of charge. We will conference with you or consult with you in office. We have 2 offices, one in Shelby, North Carolina, one in Charlotte uptown. And we cover pretty much Western North Carolina on a regular basis. We have clients all over. We're very blessed, and we'd like to help you. So we waive that. We'll see you in office, or we'll set up a video consult or a phone consult, and we have operators standing by in our communications department to take your call. 704-749-9244. And Brenton, let's talk about how do we protect the house?
Yeah.
We must protect this house.
Right.
Familiar saying, right? And that's what people are really interested in.
Yeah.
Why do people care so much about their houses?
Yeah, it's one of your main assets.
A lot of times it's a main asset.
Yeah.
I mean, how much do you pay for your house?
A lot of money.
A lot of money.
Over 30 years.
Yeah. And usually you pay the bank 3 times as much as you actually borrowed over a 30-year period. So it's a big chunk of change. It's a lot of your life tied up in your house.
That's right.
You raise your kids in your house.
Yeah.
Your grandkids come over to the house.
Yeah.
I mean, so many things happen in your house. So many things happen in my kitchen, around the dinner table. That's where we spend most of our time in our house.
It might already be promised to your loved ones too. They might even be depending on, receiving that as an asset once you pass away. Right?
Could be. I mean, can a home change a family or help a family? How can it help my heir? How can it help my children or my grandchildren?
I know I have student loans. I know you do too, right? And so it's really nice to inherit a house, right?
Yes.
And use that.
I could buy a nice house for how much I owe.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if I had an asset, maybe I could liquidate it. Maybe that means I don't have to go and buy a house myself and use my money that I'm trying to pay my student loans with to buy a house, right? And so there's many ways that could benefit and just give a start to a young family. Or
pay for college, or just help out, right?
Right.
And everybody can use a bit of a hand up.
That's right.
So why don't we just gift the home to our kids?
Yeah, that's a strategy that some people use.
Via a quick claim deed.
Yeah. So people use a quit claim deed to transfer.
Not quick claim. Quit claim.
Yeah. To transfer the property, and it's a gift deed to transfer the property just out of their names, because they think that if they get it out of their names at a certain age, they should get things out of their name, and it's a good thing, right? And
at what age should you give away all your hard-earned money and property?
I would say when you die.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the wrong question and the wrong perspective. The question is, how can you stay in control of your hard-earned money and property for the rest of your life and pass it on to your loved ones?
Yeah.
Avoiding having the government take it back or spending it down because of long-term care.
Right. So I don't think it's a good strategy to use at all. Some people try to do it to get it out of their names, but guess what? It's not a good strategy because you actually mess things up when you give your house away.
If you do it within the look-back period, absolutely.
Absolutely. But I would advocate that you do mess things up if you give it away. It's no longer your home.
Yeah, I mean,
which is a big deal.
One of the saddest calls I've ever had is someone crying to me because her daughter threw her out of the house.
Yeah.
What can I do? When you give up ownership to your home to someone else, you are at their mercy, right?
That's right.
You're at their mercy. And I don't care how nice your family is. I like to think that, in my opinion, the kids are always nicer to mama and daddy when they're still in control of all the assets.
That's right.
Right, when you maintain some control. So I'm a big fan of maintaining control. And what we don't want to see is we don't want to see, like this gentleman sitting on the steps of his own house, we don't want to see you give up control of your home, your main place of residence.
That's right.
That's really one of the tenets of my practice is to keep you, the senior, in control of assets for the rest of your life. That's one of the main things I'd like to do.
Well, yeah, and the other thing that you mentioned briefly, but I think that's very important, is if you give away your home, give away interest in your property, you potentially trigger a look back period, 3 years for assisted living, 5 years for nursing home care. Where Medicaid, if you try to qualify for Medicaid, what they do is they say, we see that you might qualify, but we're going to go ahead and look back. 3 years for assisted living, 5 years for nursing home care, to see if you gave anything away to artificially lower that asset threshold, right?
And if you have,
to try to qualify. And if you
then
have,
you're done.
you don't qualify. That's right.
That's right. So what about using deeds like life estate deeds to protect property?
Man, a life estate deed is actually a great tool, but you gotta do it outside the look back.
It's a plan ahead tool.
It's a plan ahead.
Life estate deed is a plan ahead tool. The property's yours for the rest of your life. It can be placed on any number of properties. The home, a vacation home, any number of properties, okay? And the property is essentially yours during your life. Now, if, heaven forbid, you were to pass away, or you and your spouse were to pass away, when the last one does, it can go to your people of your choosing, right? Your grantees. It can go to your children directly, automatically. It's theirs outside of that probate process. It just passes automatically, okay? Yeah. So that's what a life estate deed is, and that's what it does. But it is a plan ahead tool. It's not automatically protected. It does automatically avoid probate, but it is still a countable asset transfer under the Medicaid look-back rules, so you need to do it outside of that time period. So I like life estate deeds. We use them regularly, but we also use ladybird deeds, which is also called an enhanced life estate deed. So what's an enhanced life estate deed or ladybird deed?
Yeah, so
who's this?
Okay, so that's Lady Bird Johnson.
Lady Bird Johnson.
That's right.
That is not my mother.
That's
Lady Bird Johnson.
Yeah. The first lady under the Lyndon B. Johnson administration.
Mm-hmm.
So
my mother's gonna get mad at me when she sees that. My mother's much prettier than Lady Bird Johnson.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's her, and it's named after her, right? So because the Great Society legislation was ushered in under Lyndon Johnson's administration,
sure.
And when they created this idea for the deed, it was named after her.
Right. Absolutely, and the characteristics of that deed are, if I place a ladybird deed on my home, it's just for my primary residence, where I live,
right?
Not any other land or homes or rentals.
Right.
For my primary residence, it immediately protects that, and it's not a countable asset transfer under the Medicaid look-back rules.
That's right. So that home and any surrounding property up to a value of $585,000 now that they've updated that.
$585 this year.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
I can change my $572,000 up to $585 now.
That's right. And so up to a value of $585,000, all of that is covered by the ladybird deed, and it means that you can do the same thing as like a life estate deed.
Right.
Right. And pass it outside of probate, but it's a little bit more enhanced because it's actually the real name for it, the nickname for it is ladybird deed. The real name for it is an enhanced life estate deed, and the enhanced part of it is that you maintain all control on the property.
Right.
And you don't trigger that look back period because you're not giving away any interest in the property.
Right.
So it's more like a beneficiary designation where it just goes to them automatically when you pass away, but not until then. And that's the ladybird deed.
That's the ladybird deed. I love the ladybird deed. I absolutely love the ladybird deed. That has helped our clients save probably hundreds of millions of dollars in property cumulatively. I guarantee you. Okay.
That's right. If you have a mortgage on your property, can you do a ladybird deed?
You can. It's one of the only deeds that I know of that does not activate any kind of dual transfer.
Right. What if it's in a homestead exemption, a land use exemption?
It does not change the fact that it's in a homestead or land use exemption.
Right.
At all. Neither does a life estate deed.
Can you do the ladybird deed if you're in a nursing home?
You can, even if you're receiving Medicaid benefits already, you can place a ladybird deed on your home. That's right. A home that was going to be lost can be saved. That's exactly right.
Those are some of the questions I get all the time.
And that makes me extremely happy.
Absolutely. I get those questions all the time from clients, and I love being able to answer the question and say, hey, this is a tool available to you right now. Doesn't matter if you have a mortgage, doesn't matter if you have a homestead exemption, doesn't matter if you have the land use exemption. This is available to you to protect your property and, any surrounding property with the home right now.
Up to a value of $585,000.
That's right.
In any contiguous property, it could even be separate parcels.
Yeah, just have separate deeds. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So we have fun with ladybird deeds.
Right.
Now moving on to trust. I think we're making pretty good time.
I think so too.
Brenton, you know?
Maybe we should do this together all the time.
We should do it together. We can cover it quicker.
That's right.
Trust. What are trusts?
Man, trusts are cool. They're really, really cool. Tools that you can use. What I like to explain trust as is it's a pot where you can put all your stuff.
Sure.
Right?
Like a pot or a cup, right?
Yeah.
Like this pen cup.
Yeah. You consolidate everything. And consolidation is very important because everything is in one place.
What about liability protection?
Well, right now, that looks like to me like a revocable trust, right?
Okay.
It has no lid. It's not closed.
Right.
So I can still come in and reach into that if I'm a creditor.
Well,
right?
it's my revocable trust, so I have control of things inside of it.
That's right.
I can take things out of it. I can put things into it. I can put real estate into it, bank accounts into it,
Right.
investment accounts into it.
And which is an awesome thing to have is that total control and power over it, but you don't get the same type of asset, protection that you would with, let's say, an irrevocable trust, right?
So with an irrevocable trust, like a MAPT or Medicaid Asset Protection Trust, right? That's my Medicaid Asset Protection Trust. Why am I not holding it?
Well, I'm holding it because I'm your trustee. I'm your trusted third party, and it's an irrevocable trust, so you can't be the trustee.
Oh, I can't be the trustee.
You can't. You're the grantor
So
of the
I
trust.
give up some control, but in exchange for the protection.
That's right.
Because the government, if I still hold the trust, counts it, so Medicaid counts this as my asset.
That's
for the
right.
revocable trust. Because I have control over it.
That's right. But these assets are no longer counted as yours, so the government, Medicaid, would not count these assets as counting against you, and you can qualify for Medicaid.
Right, but what kind of duty do you have as my trustee?
Right.
Let's say you're a trusted family member of mine, or an attorney who's a trustee.
Right.
What kind of trust can I have, pun intended,
Yeah.
that you will act in my best interest?
Well, you always want to pick a trusted person, but the person you pick as your trustee has what's called a fiduciary duty, and that means that
so
they
it's a
are
legal
required-
duty.
That's
legal
right.
fiduciary duty.
Legal fiduciary duty. And now, as long as they act in good faith on behalf of you and the trust and the beneficiaries of the trust, then they're not going to be held liable. But if I take all the money and run off to Vegas and blow it, then I'm certainly going to be held liable under the law.
Sure.
That's right. So I have that legal fiduciary duty to make sure I act in good faith on behalf of the trust.
Can I put my home in there?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You put your home. That's another option that we have to protect the home.
I can put other property in there, real estate?
And you might want to put it in there for a couple of reasons. It might be even a more flexible situation than maybe some of the deed planning that you had, anticipated maybe coming into the office. Maybe you want to do some deed planning. Maybe a trust is better for you with your goals. Again, we're trying to work towards your goals and what you want to do. And trusts are a great way to reach your goal, right? But a lot of people, they have the goal of protection of assets, but they also want to keep control.
Well, you know what? At this point in my life, I'm young enough. I'm not ready to give up control yet.
Yeah.
I want to keep control. But I also, as I maybe get up in years a bit, I want to make sure that the property I have in trust can be protected in case of that long-term care situation.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
It's very important. What we've created,
So how can I get protection and control?
That's right. So we have noticed the need for that with our clients. A lot of our clients don't fit in just the revocable category or the irrevocable category.
Or they want both.
Yeah. That's right. And so we want to give our clients the best of both worlds, right? Have a cake and eat it too. And we have
What's the use of this? What's the use of having cake if you can't eat it?
That's right.
Have you ever thought about that?
I like having
cake. Yeah, I like to have cake, but if I can't eat the cake, you can keep the cake. I want the cake, and I want to be able to.
Some people like to smell the cake.
Because I don't want to smell the cake because that's just going to make me want to eat it more. So if I get cake, I want to eat it. So how do I have my cake and eat it?
Okay, so the way you have your cake and eat it is with the convertible trust. And this is something we have designed specially for our clients.
Right.
It's something that we have created specially for our clients. And we've also heard it termed a trigger trust. Now that's when we were...
I like that term.
We were explaining to somebody and they're like, oh, a trigger trust. And that sounds like a pretty good term as well. But
Sure.
we call it the convertible trust because what it does is it starts out revocable and gives you power over your assets, right? Just like the pot you have in your hand right now.
I control it.
Gives you total control.
Sure.
All right, but it becomes irrevocable upon a triggering event. That's why it's also mentioned.
So it turns into this.
That's right.
If I sign a one-page amendment to make it irrevocable,
That's right. So you can pull that trigger at any time.
I can pull the trigger.
Let's say that your health may be failing. Let's say, in your mind, hey, I might need care
It's
within the
time.
next 3 to 5 years.
It's time.
It's time to put
So
that
it's
trust
very
into the
simple
vision.
to convert it to this
That's right.
with the same trust that you already have.
That's right.
So you
We
don't have to
furnish
create a new
this
trust.
document for you. That's right.
Right. And or let's say what happens if, man, I have a stroke
Yeah.
or something happens before I get to you or before I realize it or
Yeah.
before I haven't been thinking about it.
Yeah, if you're diagnosed with some type of debilitating disease, you have a stroke and you have dementia such that you can't make decisions for yourself, or maybe you've been placed in long-term care for an indefinite period of time and it's going to be, you're going to be incapacitated for
Sure.
longer than a year.
Right.
Let's say all of those things could happen. Let's say one of them does. The trust automatically converts.
Automatically.
That's right, and becomes a protected trust to protect the assets inside that trust.
So it becomes a Medicaid asset protection trust at that point.
That's right.
I like it.
Yeah,
That's excellent. Convertible trust.
convertible trust.
It's the best of both worlds. Just simply said, trust can be a great way to protect yourself from liability, to control assets, to avoid probate,
Yeah.
because trusts have beneficiaries, to avoid liens
Yeah.
that attach in probate. Trusts are excellent at that, and with giving you flexibility of how to manage real estate within the trust is even more flexible than deed planning.
That's right. And the benefit, too, of having that irrevocable trust, maybe the conversion from the revocable to the irrevocable, is not only qualification for long-term care, but what happens when Medicaid pays out? They want to go after those assets, right? And assets that pass through probate, Medicaid can go after, but also assets that pass outside of probate with a revocable trust, Medicaid can go after too. So you want to make sure that if you're getting Medicaid, your assets convert to that
And are in an
irrevocable.
a trust in an irrevocable status to pass those properties, to pass that money to your children, and to allow you to be qualified for benefits such as long-term care Medicaid
That's right.
to help you pay for care and not sacrifice all your hard-earned money and property. So trusts are very good at that. I love trust. I love these trusts. I love deed planning, foundational planning. I can't tell you how important that is to start with. If you would like to talk about trust planning or any other type of planning, we'd love to give you our estate planning worksheet, which you'll find in the Elder Law Report magazine, which I'd like to give you a free copy of that. Also, we'd like to give you a free copy of my book, Saving the Farm. I spent 2 years researching, interviewing experts in their fields from around the country to write this book, in 6 months editing, and tens of thousands of dollars bringing this book to market for you. I'd love to be able to give it to you for free today. You can certainly go on Amazon and buy it for $20, or Audible or iTunes and buy the audiobook or ebook on Kindle or iTunes. But I'll give it to you free today.
I've noticed a big fan of that book too is other attorneys, maybe other attorneys heading into the field of estate planning and elder law,
Right.
because it's such an informational guide and it really just breaks everything down to you that if I was trying to learn about how to jump into this field,
It's a good
that'd be a
outline.
great way to do it. Yeah,
Sure.
absolutely. So what it does is it gives our clients and potential clients the ability to really understand and how to manage their assets and what they need to put in place to protect themselves and their loved ones.
That's absolutely true. So we want to give you these freebies today. We're going to waive our consult fee as well. Our attorneys charge a $150 consult fee generally. We're going to waive that today because you joined us on this educational event. You'll need to call 704-749-9244 to schedule your free in-person video or phone consult. Also, you can go to mcelderlaw.com/free consult. I set up a nice page for you right there that's informative. Put in your information, and someone from our office, one of our operators, communications people, will be back to you shortly to set that consult for you. I thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for being with us. Thanks for everyone who's at home, who's going through this right now. I just think it's extremely important when there's chaos to grab onto something we can control, to find a point that we can feel like we're grounded. And estate planning is one of those things and one of those places, exercising your right to counsel to your attorney and drafting those estate planning documents and taking care of your family certainly is something to do during this shutdown and downtime.
I mean, I can't tell you how many people want peace of mind during this time.
Sure.
And I can't tell you how good it is to give that peace of mind to our clients.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And Brenton, if you could just go over it one more time for them, because I want to make sure they know the value of what they're getting.
Yeah, man, I'm excited about this magazine. Sure. We just put this together. This is the 2020
it's
print
hot.
edition.
It's
That's
hot.
right, hot off the press.
It is.
So this is the Elder Law Report, all right? Print edition, year 2020, okay? And we have a lot of awesome things in here. We have everything that we've talked about today and more, okay? And then we have visual guides for you, okay? Those maps that we talked about, the estate planning worksheet, the Lady Bird deed map, and the trust planning worksheet, those two are bonuses. And what we're going to do, like we said, we want you to have these so you understand what you need. Don't just take it from us, right? Well, take it from us in another way. Don't just take our word for it, also read it, okay? And we usually charge about $20 a pop for these books. We usually charge about $150 for a consultation fee. But right now, what we want to do is, in this time of crisis, in this time of panic, we want to be able to offer to our clients as a civic duty free services and free information. We'd love to do that for you today. So if you want a copy of the Saving the Farm book, if you want a copy of the Elder Law Report, and if you want to sit down for an hour with any of our attorneys, then go ahead and visit our website at
mcelderlaw.com/free consult. mcelderlaw.com/free consult.
That's right, and they can call in anytime. We have operators standing by. And just give us the number one more time.
704-749-9244. 704-749-9244.
Love to talk to you.
See you.